everyone, welcome back to the Spiritual Earth Angel 2323 channel. This is Gracie. Going to continue this spiritual journey, this spiritual awakening, spiritual healing series. I'd like to thank everyone, the new subscribers and the returning. Thank you for your reviews. Thank you for your positive comments. Thank you for some of the questions that you might have concerning your healing and on your awakening, your spiritual journey. Some dreams that you might had that you wanted some clarity on. So I thank you for entrusting in my divine gifts and talents and my divine advice and clarity and understanding on different people's situations. So today, I thought I was finished. I did a video, but I thought I was finished, but I'm not. So God wants to talk about your heart can't break. And from what I gather, what he's saying is the truth of yourself is and allow your love to flow. Open your heart despite your pain. Bathe in a current and unconditional love that is the essence of your soul. So that's where I'm going to start off with that, is that when you begin to love yourself unconditionally with your whole heart, mind, body, and soul, then nothing can break you. No words that people can say can break you. Especially when you are in tuned and connected, body, mind, and soul, to God, Divine One, angels, your ancestors. And you constantly hearing messages. You constantly getting dreams on your shifting to the next level, ascending higher in vibration. That things that goes around you, you see it, and then you don't. You hear it, and it might ruffle your feathers a little, but then you think about the higher calling that you have, your spiritual journey that you have, and what your purpose on life is. That's when you begin to pray for others. And I want to use my husband's mother, because she is truly has a gift in praying. Because she will pray for him, she pray for us, she pray for him. And I mean, she just go into praying long prayers. We laugh about it though, but she is truly has a gift. And that's her calling, her gift, is to pray for people. And that is a wonderful gift, because a lot of people don't know how to pray. They don't know how to meditate. They don't know how to connect to God, Spirit One, their ancestors, their angels, or whatever God that they worship, or the names of gods that they worship too. People don't know how to do that. But she is really tuned in, that she is so connected to her God, which is Allah. She's so connected to him that she can just go right into, from a conversation, right into praying. And that is a wonderful gift. to have. And she is a true woman of God. She really is. And so that was an example that God had me to use, about my husband's mom. And my mom was like that too, when she was living. God bless her soul. But she was like that too. She would go and pray. She might not pray out loud, but she would go in her little prayer closet and she will pray. And she would start talking to God, on your behalf, or anybody's behalf. My mom was a type of woman that she was quiet. But if you push her or back her into a corner, then she's going to come out. She's going to show you exactly what she is made of. A lot of things she would let things slide. She would not, she see things and she don't let it bother her. Even though you can see the pain, on her facial expression. And I guess that's where I get my facial expression too from, is my mom. And she will see the good in people, even though the people has done her wrong, but she will still see the good in them. And a lot of family members, young and old, will come and talk to her. My parents' house was the house where people would come and talk. Because she will listen. She was the type of woman that she will listen. She will listen to you. And then if you want her advice, she will give it to you. I'm from her DNA. And the ancestors to come. My mom's grandmother, my mom's mother, because I didn't know my mom's grandmother. I heard of her, but never really, know her. But my mom's mother, she was the same way. She was a quiet woman. Very quiet, very spiritual. And I took a lot, of my qualities from her, my mom's mother, because when I was a child, one of my mom's sisters used to come pick me up before she had her child. Used to come pick me up, and I used to stay there with my grandparents on weekends and stuff like that. And I learned a lot. I do have an old soul, and I learned a lot. And I'm not young either, but I'm a mature woman is how I'm gonna put it. And I learned a lot from them. Their marriages was, my grandmother's marriage, they was married until my grandfather, God called him home. And they was very spiritual people. Very spiritual people. They were married for like 50 some years. Even my dad's parents, they were married for 50 some years. And they went through a lot through marriages, and I would hear them talk about it. I would go and sit down and talk to my grandmother, my grandparents and stuff, and listen to them talk about how their life was back in the day, and what they went through in their marriages and relationship and stuff like that, with the life past experience that they had, and how they got through it by trusting in God, believing on God, having God first in their life. That's how they got through all the pain despair, the backstabbing, the heartbreaks. They got through all of that by trusting in God, believing in God, praying to God, meditating God, and had God instill into their heart, their mind, their body, and their soul. You know, I grew up in the church. From as a baby on up to my age now, I grew up in the church, stayed in the church. And yes, I did fall by the wayside. Who didn't? But then God has appointed set a time to get you back on track, because He has something for you to do, a spiritual mission that He has for you, that you need to get out to the world to talk about your past experience, because it could help other people how to get over theirs when they come to a situation. The testimonies can help other people. Everything that you go through is always not a negative thing. It's a lesson learned. Something that you need to learn a lesson and move on. But you don't allow people to put you back into that past and make it like it's a negative thing when it's not. Because those people need to be healed. It just showed that these people are not healed. They want to stay in the past. They want to bring up your faults, your mistakes. And I posted something about that too on on the channel. I did like a quote one day. I said that, instead of you telling other people about someone's mistake, why don't go to that person, tell them about tell them about the mistakes so they can correct their own mistakes. And it's true. A lot of people can find faults in you, but then they don't want to believe and find faults in themselves. So then they want to say you unhealed, that you're not speaking the truth, you're not on your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, but they refuse to be on theirs. When I know God is giving them warning signs to get it together, to get it right, before you be stuck in that same mind frame. And there's a lot of people out there that is so unhealed because of broken heart or pain of their past, experience it, relationship, encounter with people. And so they try to bring you back into that same situation as them. They try to bring you back on the same level. And when you had already passed that level, now you're on a different level now, where you're ascending. You're shifting. God is continuing to shift every day. He's shifting. He's shifting you to different levels, to your conscious mind, to see the bigger picture in that not everything that comes towards you is negative. It can be positive things too. It could be just something that God said, okay, I'm going to send this person to you because I need you to heal in that area. You haven't quite healed yet, so you need to heal. So that's maybe why I'm sending this person to you, to ruffle your feathers. I know this person's not healed, but I want you to be completely and totally healed, to where your heart is not broken in any areas of your life. And and I don't understand. Well, yes, I do understand that I see my life from when I was a baby, and how, my mom didn't know what to name me. And then one of my godmothers said, okay, name her Grace after me to carry the legacy. And she was a singing woman, my godmother, which is my mom's aunt, my great aunt. She was a singing woman. Oh my God, she was like so into God. Was her life. She was married, and then her husband passed on. She never got married again. She committed her whole life to God, doing the mission that God had. And she can sing some old hymns, some old slavery spiritual hymns that she could sing. And and as she cleaning, and as she cooking, and she can cook too. She can actually cook. My mom's mother, it was 3 of them. And they grew up in West Virginia, the mountains of West Virginia. They all had these like gray eyes. And this real Cherokee type skin is where I get mines from my DNA and my looks, my appearance. And they always stayed together no matter what. These 3 sisters, they stayed together. They never, they might have some disagreement, because I remember as a child, they had some disagreement, but don't you know that they came to a solution so that way it does not sabotage their relationship as sisters, as family. They learn how to get over their differences. They learn how to get over the grudges or offended. They learn how to get over that and say, hey, you still my family. Regardless of what we go through, I still love you. It could be from a distance, or it could be from afar, or, they noticed that. They were showing that godly love. And it didn't try to let evil come in between their relationship to destroy it. I don't know why I'm going and talking about this, but I guess this is how God want me to do this. So I'm just going to go with the flow. And that's where I got all of my knowledge, from listening to my elders that has passed on, my ancestors. I was a child that I never did a lot of playing outside. I always stayed in the house because I was always fascinated with spiritual things. So my childhood, I didn't have a lot of friends. I picked and chose who my friends were. If there was going to be a lot of drama and chaos, I would back away from them. Just like I do to now today. I do the same thing. If there's a lot of drama and chaos, I start pulling back my energy. I start pulling back because I don't want to be in the mix of that anymore. Because nobody's growing. Nobody's getting close to God. You're pulling away from when you bring in gossip. You bring in ill will, envy, jealousy, hatred, obsession, grudge, revenge. All of that, you have pulled yourself away from the divine one, God. Or the gods that you worship, the names of the gods that you worship. You just pulling away. You going further and further away when you start allowing influence of negativity and third parties and people whispering in your ears and telling you negative things about people that is not true. hearsay that is not true. And it's not really that person's personality at all. It's just that you choose not to get to know that person on a deeper level, on a spiritual level. So you study and you think you know this person. You really don't even know this person at all. You have known the person past, but you have not known the person's present in the future, and where this person at and where their mind is. And God would not reveal that at all to nobody. You would never know that person's mind, their thoughts, how they feel about you. You will never know that. Unless that person reveal it itself. You know, it's so many things that God has showed me in my dreams. A lot of my dreams are very prophetic. And I just don't even get on it and speak about it unless God have me to speak on it. Some things is for me to edify my growth, my spiritual journey. You know, I've been through a lot in my life. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I've been through a lot in my life. I've been through the betrayal. I've been through the heartbreaks. I've been through despair and pain. I've been through the backstabbing from loved ones, friends, family, spouses, relationship, boyfriends. I've been through that. And by me holding on to God and believing in Him and what He has spoken over my life, of where I'm going, and everything that He has shown me, the blessings and everything that's going to bestow upon my life as I walk in my spiritual journey, my healing. You know, there's going to be persecution. There's going to be false lies against you. There's going to be people that hate your guts, but then smile in your face behind your back. There's people that's going to send evil intentions and motive towards you. But you keep on moving because it's not going to touch you. As long as you continue to stay connected to the divine one, God, ancestors and spirit, you just continue to stay connected to them. Everything that they sent to you, it be reversed and it backfire back into their face. And then they're wondering why things are not being bothered by you. The things that they sent to you is not working. Because when you were protected as a child, I've been in so many car accidents from a baby on up until probably when I was 18 years old. And I walked out uninjured. So now tell me, that's the favor of God. That's when you got heavy protection against you. Because some of these accidents that I had when I was my family used to tell me, you know, I'll be in a car with different family members or friends and make it out alive with no broken bones, no bruises, no nothing. That's when I realized then that's God been protecting me all my life, ever since I came in my mother's womb. And He's continued to protect me. And I knew that I had a greater calling in my life, a greater calling, and a spiritual mission that I had to fulfill before he decided to call me on to heaven, to be with my ancestors. And people just don't understand. Like I said, they always look at where you at now. But if they have went back into the years as I was growing up from a child up until now, they would think very differently. They wouldn't be so quickly to pass judgment. At all. I have had a lot of competition. Women competing against me. For what? I could see if I was a billionaire. Then I could see the competition, which I probably would be there soon. Because that's how much faith I have in my God. Because as you speak things into the existence, that's when God begins to manifest. And ain't nobody can, and once the word has left your mouth and went into the atmosphere, it's already there to perform, to bring to you. So nobody can block anything. You have to believe in your manifestation. How you going to manifest things in your life, your gift. Sharpen your gift, your skills. Focus on what God has instilled in your life, because everybody's calling is going to be different. It's not going to be the same. You're going to have some fake people around you. And he will give you discernment of that too, and their intentions. He can show you who's real and who's not. Who's speaking the truth and who's not speaking the truth. He can show you their ways, their unstable ways. He can show you when you have some negativity trying to get into your energy, because you have that certain feeling. He will show you how to block it. He will allow you to see your enemies before you as a footstool. Like I said, I will prepare a table before you with your enemies. And he will do that. He will let you see every last one of them. And all the plots and the plans and intention that they did for you, you still here. You still alive. You still living. All the things that they done to me with witchcraft, I'm still here. Everything they try to send towards me, I'm still here. I'm still living. All the negative hearsay, all the negative posts that they might have posted about me. But I haven't wavered, because I'm still on my spiritual journey. I'm still focusing on God. Yes, I have a lot of healing to do. Everybody's going to have a lot of healing to do on your spiritual journey because of past life experiences. It's always a continued learning process until you leave this world. That's when everything ends. You're also going to have haters, naysayers. You're going to have those people. I don't think those people do is going to make your spiritual journey much stronger. You're going to have more confidence in yourself. You're going to have more love and compassion towards these people, because you can see their soul. You can see how unhealed they are by their negative response to comments that you post or whatever. And as spiritual beings, you need to start speaking the truth, regardless of what consequences come behind it. Because if you don't speak the truth and what God has given you to speak to people, that needs to be spoken to, because God has everybody a set of group of people that they need to talk to get his words out. So not everybody that you speak to is going to be for you. Sometimes God will have you to warn people. And when you warn them, and if they don't take heed to what you say, then you let it go. What you do is you pray for them and then allow God to deal with them. Because they say warning comes before destruction. And that's in the Bible. You know, you forgive 70 times 70. It's not always, sometimes when you're on your spiritual journey, to turn the other cheek. That's a scripture in the Bible too about turning the other cheek. And sometimes that is hard. And if you talk to pastors, you talk to bishops, you talk to priests, nuns, monks, whatever, anybody that's in a spiritual leadership in churches, they will all tell you they have fallen short a lot. They have made mistakes a lot. But do you think they sit there and waddle in those mistakes and allow other people to keep them there? No, they shake that dust off and they get back up, because they know that they have a greater calling, that they need to reach people. And I'm pretty sure they had a lot of attacks against them, but they did not allow those attacks to stop them from hindering them. They kept going because they knew what God had called them to do. And if they don't do what God tells them to do, then judgment gonna come upon them. You know, as I look back, you know, I'm just so grateful, you know, that I had a God that favored me and saw my worth when I didn't see my worth, but he saw my worth and he kept working on me so that way I can see my worth also. To say what I just said, your heart can't be broken. Nobody can break your heart when you fully love yourself. You love yourself first before you love anybody else. You become one with yourself when you love yourself. And that's why you're able to speak and teach and spread love and joy to other people. And when people come after you, they don't love themselves. They're always looking for love in another person. Because when you begin to love yourself, then you'll be able to know how to love another person. And you'll be able to set boundaries also. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to play with my love. You begin to set boundaries with people. and you keep them out of your energy until you know for sure they have completely healed, or they're on their spiritual journey to heal, and that they are connected to God, or to their whoever the God they worship, the names of gods that they worship. You learn how to protect your energy. You learn how not to have so many people in your energy. You learn how to do spiritual warfare. Like I said, I learned how to do spiritual warfare when I was 8 years old, when I was seeing demons on people and saw my loved ones, and that had passed away, and some of them I wasn't even born. But I actually could see them. And sometimes I would talk to them also. In my dreams, I would go to the spiritual realm. And I know I'm always protected. My angels. I had some real tall angels will come to me during certain situation and point of my life. They will come to me. And it will give me some encouraging words from God. I remember one time I was, I can't remember where I was at, but I was somewhere. Oh, I was on one of my jobs. Because I used to work in banking too also before I became a nurse. And then before I came on my own business. But I was going through something, and all of a sudden, I was, how you have those vending carts, where they have the little hot dogs, like these little carts that they roll, and they had like the little hot dogs in it. So I was like, well, let me go get me a hot dog on my lunch break. And so I ended up getting a hot dog, and all of a sudden, it was this painter. He was like painting the building. It was this man. He was real tall too. And he was painting the building, one of the buildings when I was working downtown in a state. And so I'm minding my own business like always. I always mind my own business, stay in my own lane. I don't bother people. I don't come for you unless you come for me. That's how I roll. But anyway, that was when so I was walking back. If I got my hot dog and everything, walking back, I said, okay, I'm gonna go eat my lunch or whatever. And this man came off the ladder and started walking with me. And he started telling me things about my life that I was praying to God about, that I never told anybody else. And at that time, I was married to my daughter's father at that time. So, and he was breaking it down to me as I was walking back to my job. And the things that he told me about myself and how different situations going to end, how it's going to be resolved, how I'm going to step into blessings and stuff like that. And I got a greater call, a greater mission in my life, which I had already knew that. But God was like sending people, like especially my angels, to come and guide, to guide me, to tell me messages from him. And so once I was listening, so when I look back up, it's like we got to the stop sign. You know how you have when downtown, they have that little walkway, where it count down the number and they say, okay, you can walk or you can't walk. It was like that. So as I got there, and it was a lot of people around too. And as I was walking, I turned back around, the man was no longer there. And when I went back to when I turned around and look at the building, it was two men there, but there was only one man. So I knew then that I was entertained by an angel. And if I wasn't focused on my situation, my problem at that time, I would have missed the message, the blessing, what God was trying to instill in me to get me to know my worth. I would have missed that. And that's what I'm telling you. These people, when you unwaken, and some of you are waking, you missing the point, you missing the message because you're so focused on gossip, spilling the tea, the negativity aspect of things, instead of focusing on what needs to be the truth, what needs to be told, what's the meaning, the deeper level, the deeper meaning of things. That's what you're missing. And you wonder why certain energies hasn't left. You wonder why you're going around in circles. Because you're not listening, tuning in with the messages that God is sending you, or talking to you, or sending people around you. You're missing the big picture. Because you want to be stuck in the past and not move on to what is better in your future. Because God got something better for you in your future. But you want to continue to stay stuck in the past. Won't let the past go. Don't let past trauma, childhood traumas, experiences in your life. You don't let it go. And you wonder why you're not being blessed. You wonder why your growth spiritually is still stagnated. That's the reason. You know, this spiritual walk is not a piece of cake at all. Because it's God's way of getting deep inside your soul, your mind, your body, your deep thoughts, in your subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is where He's getting into that, your heart, where He's clearing out what was planted, what was instilled in your heart, and He's uprooting it. And then replacing it with love, peace, joy, and happiness. His divine, unconditional love for us as people. That's what He's instilling. So I'm going to end it here. Until next time. Do some soul searching. When you come against oppositions, persecution, people bring you triggers, provoking you. That's when you do some soul searching. Or even if you speak the truth and people get offended by it. That's when those people need to do some soul searching. And ask God for forgiveness. And ask God to show them how to heal. So they can become a better person. Where they can love wholeheartedly and not give you bits and pieces of their selves, but they can show genuine love, unconditional love, like God give us, that these people can show. Relationships are healed, marriages are healed. You see beyond their faults and you begin to pray for them instead of you criticizing them and being negative. What you do is that you pray for them. You begin to reach out and pray for them, for their soul, that their soul doesn't get lost in the way along their journey or their time here on earth, that they miss the mark. There's a scripture in the Bible too about missing the mark. This is where I get my messages from my ancestors. Me sitting around when they are stealing all of what I needed to be instilled in me so I can carry on their legacy, to break generation curses off the family, to be that strong backbone, to be stern and grounded, stand my ground. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and you call it out. And then you keep on moving. Once you give the warning, like I said, warning comes before destruction. You warn. They don't take heed, you move on. Let God deal with them. But you wash your hands away from it because you already done did a work. God has sent you to that person just to speak a word, or to encourage, or to help. And after that, you move on. You move on to your next mission. And he also teach you how to protect your energy. Because our soul is energy. Once we leave this earth, the skin that we have on our body, it's going to decay and stink. The bones, it's going to be a pack of bones there in the gravesite. The spirit had already left. Once you transition to heaven or hell, wherever you got to go, the spirit has already left. It's our energy. You know, some people talk about the orbs. When you see like white little orbs and stuff that be around you, that's the energy. That's energy of your loved ones, angels. That's what that is around you. You know how some people take pictures and you see the orb like a little white dot of orb or something? That's what that is. So your soul is an energy. It leaves this body. And that's why it can reincarnate into a baby. Because it's energy. That's what our soul is. It goes back to the Creator. And then it's up to Him to send you back to either reincarnate to relearn another lesson, or to fulfill your true destiny, what He had called you that you couldn't fulfill in your past life. That's basically what that is. And sometimes you hear people say, you are an old soul. That means they already been here on this earth before. They didn't learn from their past life, so now God got them here again to learn. And once they learn this past life, then they won't reincarnate again, because they already fulfilled everything that God has them to fulfill. Or you be with somebody and be like, oh, you look familiar, or sound, or I feel like that we met before. All of that is past life experience. And it's like someone will leave this earth, then it, go back as energy, come back down. The soul is like an energy, so it comes back down and rebirth, renew, get reincarnated into a baby that is born. There's baby that's born like every so seconds a day on the hour. Babies are being born. So you see, this world is evolving around constantly. It's not stopping. It's constantly evolving. You baby is born, then somebody go to heaven or hell, wherever they go. Baby is born, somebody go to heaven. And sometimes it could be your loved ones. I remember my grandparents would say that when somebody is pregnant, and if you see a family member or a friend or whoever you hear that is sick, then they're making room for this baby. And a lot of us have spiritual babies that are waiting to be born at the right point, at the right point of time, when God says, okay, now it's time for your spiritual baby to come into the natural realm. It's all a point at a time of everything that God has in our life. It's already outlined in our DNA from the day that we was born and we was put into the mother's womb. That's what said the mother's womb is sacred. It's very sacred, because you got to carry a baby for 9 months. That baby is attached to you, nourishing off of your body, inside your body for 9 months. You know, collecting your DNA, your chromosomes, to determine which sex the baby's going to be, how intelligent the baby's going to be, the color, developing of the skin, the eyes, the heart, the lungs. That's why when women get pregnant, they go through different stages where you have to go to the OB and a GYN. You have to go to them. Those doctors that specialize in babies. Because every so weeks that you got to go get blood tests done. So they can test and make sure there's no birth defects in the baby. Then you got to go another certain weeks, making sure that the baby's developing like it should on a normal rate. Making sure the lungs are being developed, the eyes, the ears, the nose, that form the baby. All of this is all in certain weeks, all the way up until 38 weeks or 39 weeks. Some people go 40 weeks. It depends. Then you get the sex of the baby. Then you come back and they can do ultrasounds now where you can see and get the sex of the baby. This is all God's creation of how we were formed. God said, I knew you when you was formed in your mother's womb. And that's a scripture in the Bible. When he was talking to Jeremiah about it, that he knew him the day that he was in his mother's womb. So that's how God knows us too, the same way. You know, when the baby come too early, you know, like when I had my daughter, she was trying to come early. She was trying to come early in 2 months. And I was like, and the doctor was like, oh no, you cannot have this baby. Nothing has been really developed. So I knew that she had a good calling on her life because of my DNA and the calling on my life. So I knew my daughter had it too, because she was trying to come early and won't even fully develop. And that's when I had to be on bed rest for my whole pregnancy. And that was not a pleasant thing to be on, because I could only walk to the bathroom, to the refrigerator and back. No long standing periods of standing. I couldn't really go to the grocery store like I wanted to. So I had to get her father, which was my husband at that time, I had to get him to go and do a lot of things for me. Because every time I did try to move a little bit, it would send me back into the hospital. And then they would give me medication to stop my pregnancy, to keep her from coming. And I was doing spiritual warfare then, along with her. I was doing spiritual warfare. And I had her at 36 weeks. And the doctors didn't think then, you know, and I was being hard-headed. And it was my grandfather's birthday on my mom's side. And I wanted to be at his birthday. I was in a different state then. I was living in a different state. And I wanted to be, so I got my husband at that time, her father, you know, to drive me there, going against Dr. Wishes. And next thing you know, she decided she wanted to come early. And I was at like 34 and a half weeks then. So end up going to a local hospital. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but anyway, somebody maybe need to hear this. But I went to a local hospital, and they put me, and and it was so funny. They was like, you dilating, you having contractions. They was like, do you feel it? I said, no, I don't feel no contractions. And I didn't feel no contractions. He was like, you having contractions like every 5 minutes. And I was like, and it was like, this baby is coming. They was like, but we need to see first, if her lungs are developed. And so I was like, her lungs developed, It was kind of funny. And I was like, you got to get this baby out of me. I said, yeah, she's developed. Her lungs developed. She's ready to come. So, of course, I was in the hospital. Never made it to my grandfather's birthday. So, you see how God had plans for you? He intervened. Intervention. When he got a plan for you, a call on your life, he will intervene. Disrupt what you think you're going to do. He disrupt that and be like, no, you ain't going that route. No, this is where I want you to go. This is where I want you to do. And so once they did the spinal tap, where they checked the amniotic fluids and stuff like that. So when they did that, they checked the fluids and did ultrasound and stuff. They found out that, yeah, her lung was fully developed. And, everything looks good. So that's when they gave me some more medicine to allow my contraction even more. So by that time, I was feeling the contractions then, because they gave me some medicine to speed it up. I was actually feeling contraction then, and I didn't like that at all, because that was my first time experiencing something like that at a younger age. I was like in my middle 20s when I had my daughter. So I wasn't one of those fast women that was out there just, spreading her legs for everybody to know. I respected myself. And I didn't have babies by different daddies or babies by, having a baby and don't know who the father is. That wasn't me. I had integrity and respected myself and my body. Because I didn't want to deal with the drama. Who wants to deal with drama like that? But anyway. But, and then she finally came and everything, and, and that was history to there. But what I was saying, that's what's saying different things, that testimony that I go through and speak of. And that's why I'm saying these people, these women or people wants to be like me, want to be in my position, but they have no idea what I've been through in life. You only getting the middle stages of it, but you haven't gotten the beginning part of how I got to where I am today. You were nowhere near around. These people were nowhere near around me. Only my family. And not all my family know either. My mom knows me the best. She knew what I've been through in my lifetime. And she was my biggest supporter. And when I need advice from her, she gave it to me. Sometimes the advice was harsh and sometimes it wasn't. And she understood my mission, my journey, because God had already showed her when I was growing, when I was 8 years old, what my mission, my spiritual path was supposed to be. So she knew. So she tried to guide me as much as she could. And then my other family members and stuff like that too. And other people that God sent in my life. Spiritual leaders that he sent into my life. And continue to send into my life. Because of my mission is so great and my calling is so great, my spiritual path is great. So that's why when people try to do evil intention, motive, and the stuff don't work and it gets sent back to them, then that's the reason. Because I'm very highly protected of God, highly favored of him. I can speak up things and things come to pass. If I say I want something, it comes to me. Spoken words. Things flow to me easy. Yes, there could be some obstacles in the way, but sometimes those obstacles not always bad. Sometimes it's a warning that God is saying, okay, I want to do this because you don't see the evil, you don't see the danger ahead. So I want to slow you down so you can actually be in tune to me, so you can see what I'm doing and why this obstacle was here, this blockage was here. Because of your elevation, because of your ascending, your high vibration frequency that you're on. So, to conclude this, because it's a long video, but to conclude it is that stay tuned into what God is saying and speaking in your life, your spiritual call and your spiritual journey. Speak your truth. Believe in your mores and your values that was instilled in you from your elders or your ancestors. Don't let your path be wavered. Stand your ground and continue to show love. Continue to pray for people, even though sometimes they don't deserve it, but you still say a prayer for them anyway, because they don't know how to pray. They don't know how to connect to God, Divine One, or whoever they worship or meditate with. They don't know how to connect to get to the source, the divine source. So then that's when you step in, so that way to show them the way, to show them the light. And a lot of people is not going to like your light. Your light is shining too brightly. They don't like it, because that means they're in darkness, and darkness don't like light, and they don't want to mix with light. But you continue to show compassion and love towards them anyway. And finish your mission that God has in your life to do. Until next time, peace, love, joy, and happiness.